and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be looking at another comparison between two Yeezys. It is the Yeezy 350 V2 in the static, non-reflective colorway. It's comparing a real and a fake pair just to show you some of the differences. It is a budget replica pair, so there should be quite a few differences to look at compared to the authentic pair, which was purchased from Foot Locker. So straight away we'll look at the boxes. The left one here is the retail pair, the right one is the fake pair. As you can see, we'll look at the fake box first. It's pretty dented, as you can see, travelled all the way from China like usual. So there's a few dents in that, but otherwise it's still in pretty good condition. The retail box obviously is in pristine condition. Take a look at the labels. The fake one has used a US label, whereas the retail one purchased in the UK has obviously used the UK label. It also has the retail sticker to show that it was from Foot Locker. If you look at any of the details are pretty similar. If you look at the Adidas symbol here though, it's a telltale sign. It's actually much smaller than on the retail box. So that's one thing to notice straight away. Other than that, it's a pretty standard 350 V2 box. So we'll open it up and just take a look at the shoes now and break down some of the differences. So if we open up the authentic box here on the left, here are the sneakers themselves, the authentic pair. Also comes with 2 tags. If we look at the replica pair, the box is actually much harder to open. This one was actually wrapped in the paper when it came, so that's replicas are clearly working on that. This is the pair here of the replicas. This one came with 2 tags as well. These 2 here. Other than that, it's just a standard box. So we'll put the boxes to the side and just take a look at the shoes themselves. So can you spot any differences straight away? I'm just going to give you some B-roll first of the authentic pair, then of the replica pair, just to see if you can spot any differences, and then we'll start to break down some of the flaws. So if we start to compare the retail pair with the replica pair being in my right hand and the retail pair being in my left hand here, the main difference I can see straight away is the actual shape of the sneaker. On the replica pair, it's much bigger, chunkier compared to the slimmer silhouette of a retail pair. This can be seen from this distance here, from this part of the sneaker. It's much chunkier here than on the retail. If you can look at the stripe coming along the side, on the retail pair, the stripe kind of goes through the middle. There's a bit of material on the bottom and a bit of material on the top, but the stripe basically goes through the middle. If we look at the replica pair, look at the large space of material at the bottom there. The stripe is almost touching the top here, so that positioning is slightly off. If we look towards the toe, can you spot any differences there? Straight away I can notice the pattern here at the toe is slightly different, if you can notice that. If you look at the replica pair, you can see the grey pattern here at the toe is different to on the authentic pair at the top there. If you look at the laces, I'll try and give you a close-up of this as well, you can actually see the laces are slightly different. On the actual authentic pair, the 3M grey parts are actually darker than on the replica. Hopefully this is going to come across clearly on the camera. Not sure if it will. If we look towards the toe, if we look at the toe box of the replica pair here on the right side is actually slightly too big compared to the retail pair on my left hand. So that's the difference there. All in all, the replica pair though, has done quite a good job here. This is probably a budget batch of replica pairs, however, it's still pretty close, and from afar, it would fool quite a large amount of people. If we look towards the heel, if you look on the inside, the common flaw was the spacing on the corner, but this replica has actually done a pretty good job. This one is bent down because I've worn it quite a lot. However, this one has also been worn but hasn't bent as much. If we look towards the heel here, on the retail pair, you can see the difference in colour of the tone between the back part of the sole and the actual side part. And there's also yellow spillage which happens on retail pairs when you wear them in the sun. It has happened on replica pairs too. However, I haven't worn these as much. I just wore them just to test the comfort. There's also no colour difference at all at the heel. If we look at the shape of the heel as well, you can see clear differences there. Again, large amounts of pattern below the stripe from the Primeknit. It's also much chunkier at the heel than on a retail pair. The pull tab actually seems slightly creamier on the retail compared to a replica. The replica, it's more towards the creamish white colour. However, that could come with wear, like certain dirt and dust when walking. But at the moment it looks slightly different. Looking at the pattern on the heel as well. Here, on the retail pair, you can see that the striped pattern here comes all the way up to the corner. Whereas on the replica, the stripe pattern cuts up halfway through the sock liner, as you can see. So that's a clear difference. Keeping in mind, both these pairs are a size 9, so they should be very similar in terms of pattern and everything like that. If we look at the boost on the replica pair has done quite a good job. It doesn't feel as soft as the retail pair does on my left hand. As you can see, I've worn both of them. However, I've worn the retail pair much more than the replica pair itself. But based on appearance itself, the replica boost is slightly too defined. Hopefully this will come across on the camera. But it's slightly too defined compared to the authentic boost in my left hand. Another flaw that can be spotted is actually on the left side of the replica pair, which is this one here. So as you can see, the outside lace is going over the top of the inside lace. This is a common flaw on replicas. They actually got it right on the right side. See, the outside lace goes under, but on the left side it goes over. On a retail pair, the outside lace will always go underneath the inside lace unless it's been relaced by the owner. But if it's coming dead stock, it should always come with the outside lace going underneath the inside lace. So that's a key flaw to look for. And they made a mistake on the left side of the replica pair where they got that one wrong. So that's just another little additional thing to look for. Another difference I can spot is actually here. So on the stripe of the retail one, you see where the lace goes into the stripe? It goes through a hole through there into the stripe. But on the replica pair, look at the size of the hole underneath the stripe. It's much larger on the replica pair compared to the retail one, as you can see there. So that's another key difference to look for. The hole spacing going all the way down is very different. On the retail pair, you can see it's like a gradient from smaller circles to larger ones, which are clearer towards the toe. Whereas on the replica pair, it's pretty consistent all the way down. There's no such gradient. And that large hole where the lace goes through there, it's clear to see. So that's another difference to look for. Can you spot any other differences straight away? If you look at the actual height that this comes to, it's much higher than on a retail pair. If we look at the pattern on the outside as well, because that stripe is so high on the outside, it's actually revealing large amounts of the pattern here that aren't actually on the retail pair, as you can see here. It's also much slimmer towards the toe. If you compare this to the replica, it goes much chunkier towards the toe. It's much more space. Primeknit, however, feels almost identical to that of a retail. I would say it's maybe slightly thinner, but it's almost impossible to tell that. I will now give you some B-roll of the both sneakers in 3M with the flash on, just so you can see the difference in 3M and the laces, see if there's any difference there. So enjoy that. if you look at the pattern towards the toe, this dark grey pattern part of the sneaker here is much thicker than on the replica. As you can see, the replica only has what would seem as 2 lines of grey pattern, whereas on the retail, it's almost 1, 2, 3 lines of the grey pattern, so it's much thicker here, so that's a difference as well. Pattern should be very similar because they are the same size. So if we now take a look at the inside of the shoe, so this is the paper that comes with the authentic pair, like usual. If we look inside the replica, the paper's nowhere near the same, completely different. If we take a look at the insoles now, keeping in mind I've worn both pairs without insoles, so the insoles should be completely intact. So we'll have a look at them now. Let's take a look at both the left side now. So the replica pair here, we'll give you a close-up of that. As you can see on the Adidas symbol, the 3 stripes are not cleanly printed. They're slightly at an angle as well. Hopefully this is going to show up on the camera. Whereas on the authentic, look how cleanly the 3 stripes are printed. It's almost completely flawless. There's no seeable colour difference between the 2 insoles. If we look at the bottom of them, there are differences between the Adidas symbols, the top being the replica pair, its insoles, and the bottom being the authentic. Hopefully this is going to focus. If we look at the sizing on the side, you can see that the retail one on the bottom, the sizing is printed a lot crisper and cleaner compared to the replica. I'm not sure if this is going to show up because of the bright lighting. Can you spot any other differences? If you can, let me know. This will be going up at the same time as a test. I think the pattern's probably one of the clearest differences to see between the 2. As you can see on the pair here on the left side, at the heel, the 3 stripes. On the retail pair, it's completely symmetrical going all the way up, whereas on the replica, you can see that slight curve away at the top of the right stripe there. However, for the price difference between a retail pair, or if you pay resale, and a replica pair of this price, it's crazy to think how close they can actually get to the authentic product. I'd like to make a disclaimer that I do not promote replicas at all. This video is for educational purposes only and for the use of people who are trying to buy an authentic pair and want to see the difference between a replica and an authentic pair. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully it's been a bit educational for you. I'm now going to give you just a B-roll just to end it. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and stay tuned to the Instagram. We'll see if this channel can grow. Thank you very much for the support. I hope you have a great day.